Welcome in. This is The Pocket, Miami Community Radio. Cheetah.simulator live in performance. I'm Goon Green. This is a revival of a program that I did at VUM for a while, which was awesome. And towards the end, I did more interview content, so I'm happy to be stepping back into that realm here today, especially with someone that I respect so much. And perhaps in the future we'll get a chance to do it in a little bit longer form, but I figured I'd rather let the music speak more than words. Thanks so much for tuning in. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of really exciting programming coming up. After this, we have Bishop the Baker spinning an all-vinyl set until 5 p.m., and then Sonic Symmetry with Roy Jew following that, and then an interview program with Tim Reaper presented by Mo here on Miami Community Radio to close out the stream from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. So let me just quickly see how much time I have for this interview, and then we're going to jump into a few questions. Once again, I'm Goon Green. This is Simon Silva that I'm with. We've been playing together for a few years, and then last year, actually for another radio program, we decided to come up with a name for the concept, which it was interesting to see it develop that way, because I didn't necessarily expect a name to come up, but we felt like it fit and stepped into that. We haven't performed too much under that moniker, but I guess there's always room for further manifestations. But yeah, once again, this is The Pocket on Miami Community Radio, and let me just check the time, and then we're going to start this interview segment of the program. Cool. So I like to ask this of most of the people that I interview for the first time, but just to give everyone some context into your development and kind of how you came to the music. I guess, basically just that question, like how did you come to the music, and then I guess develop to this point, as detailed or vague as you want to be.
Wait, could you elaborate a little
Yeah,
bit
like
on
your
the
origins, like
my origins,
like
of
how did you get into
how to get
music
into
and art,
music?
and then how did that develop into being a percussionist?
So, I think first and foremost, my brother is the one that got me into music. Stuff that was going on in the current day, back in early 2Ks and shit. So from there it's like Linkin Park and also some rap here and there, like Kanye. In general, just like early 2K bands. Also, my parents' influence. They played a lot of fusion type stuff, like Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I don't really know how to elaborate too much on what they put me on, but for the most part, I guess something like Earth, Wind, and Fire really ended up influencing me too. And then from there, I'm playing video games and stuff, and my brother's also the one that's putting me on. On top of that, like I'm playing Nintendo games. Man, Nintendo music is fucking fire as fuck. So, I got that in the back of my head, and that's dope. And then, the first experience with so I'm trying to say what got me into rhythm, I guess, or what first exposed me to rhythm were like DDR type games, like Dance Dance Revolution and shit and all that. So I think either we started with like this Mario version for the GameCube of like DDR.
Nice.
She was
Sick.
she was pretty dope. We had like a fucking mat and everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like it was crazy, dude. Like video games back in the day, you know, like bro, they'd go all out and shit. And also like playing those types of games on the computer, but like on the keyboard instead of the floor pads things. So you know, I guess that already started exposing me to using my hands to, you know, kind of like play something in time, even though I'm not like, it's not something internal at that point. It's still something like, you know, I'm playing a video game for it, you know. So then came Rock Band, you know. Everybody likes Rock Band. Guitar Hero too, but like I didn't fuck with guitar. I don't know. It was annoying to me. I don't know why. I just sucked at it. Like I couldn't get my
Same.
pinky to go to the fucking orange one or whatever the fuck that was.
Literally. Yeah, it's the same.
What's it called? So like yeah, we got Rock Band and the drums were cool. Like, you know, that shit was fun. I'm
You
still
had like the actual kit that was connected to it and everything?
yeah, like Rock Band brought like it would just look like this, but like
Yeah,
rubber
I remember. I
pads.
think my friend had it.
Yeah, and then like this stupid like bass pedal thing that just it works. Just it's stupid. And then I ended up actually getting a modded like actual bass drum pedal to work for the. It was cool.
That's fire.
Yeah, it was dope. But yeah, I mean from there like playing Rock Band, it exposed me to just all sorts of bands. Some classic rock stuff. I'm not a huge fan of classic rock stuff. At the time, I was a pretty big fan of the early 2K stuff. There was some, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers in there. There's probably some Slipknot in there. There's probably some these dudes, All That Remains. I don't know, just a lot. Oh, Avenged Sevenfold, which ended up being my first ever like obsession over a band. And that is where I guess that was kind of the catalyst, you could say, honestly. That's where like I was exposed to like this. He was crazy. This guy, his nickname was the Rev, Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, and dude was dope. Dude was real dope, and he died like at 27 back in like 2010, and yeah, that was sad. Like that was my first ever favorite drummer, and yeah, that sucked. But dude was dope. And then came in dude from Dream Theater, Mike Portnoy. Guy's insane. Guy's still dope. And yeah, it was interesting getting those two influences in such a short span of time, especially like due to the nature of it. And I don't really consider Mike Portnoy too much in my influence, but it's probably in there because I binged the freaking crap out of the album he was on when I was a kid. But aside from that, there was, man, like a bunch of electronic music. My brother ended up getting into electronic music. He started making dubstep and shit. It was cool. And just a lot of heavy influence as well. I started listening to Slipknot when I was 10 or something. Dude, like, I don't know what was wrong with me, like, trying to be, me and Javi joke about it, like, Shadow the Hedgehog, like, just, bro, like, I would, like, fall asleep, like, listening to some screaming shit, like, why, dude, like, why am I doing that, like, I don't know why I did that, but, like, I could do it, anyway, so a lot of heavy influence as well, and for a while, you know, I kind of just allowed whatever was going to influence me, you know, just by what's around me. And then luckily, you know, comes streaming eventually, I guess. Although I started going out of my way to get my own music around 14. And, you know, because my brother showed me how to YouTube MP3 shit, whatever, to the iPod, and yeah,
My brother also showed me that.
yeah, and yeah, like from there, um, that's I guess when like I really started getting picky about what I, or just started like exploring. I guess just really started exploring, and it was still had a pretty rigid mindset, of course, at that time. I was 14 years old. But from that point, like I decided to like stop listening to really heavy shit. And then I started going crazy on reggae. Like reggae to me was so fire at that time. I still love reggae, but like I haven't explored reggae like that. Um, but yeah, like also because like I was exposed to different songs because of shit like GTA 5. Like that's when I started playing GTA 5, and like it had its little radio and stuff, and it just it's showing us all these different artists and shit. And there was some reggae shit in there, and man, shout out Gregory Isaacs. I don't know how old he is. I don't know if he's alive, but that shit's fire. Anyway, so yeah, like that was pretty short lived. Like getting into like softer stuff, because then the next year, freshman year of high school, 15, I started listening to. I was really confused at that time. I was a stupid little dude, just being stupid and shit, and uh, whatever. This doesn't directly correlate, but whatever. Anyway, like I started listening to a bunch of trap music, shit like Gucci and Waka Flocka and shit. I think that's when yeah, I think that's when they were like popping. And yeah, it's because my friends were like putting me on and shit. I forgot to mention 14 was when I really started getting into rap. Like what I first started listening to was Kendrick when that dude first, that was crazy. ASAP Rocky too, uh, man, Schoolboy Q, Absol, fucking, back when they were the shit, and yeah, those were the first rappers more or less that I got into. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like 15. That's when I just started going heavy on rap, and then that stuck. Um, and yeah, 15 just pretty heavy on trap and stuff for the most part. Then the next year, um, that's when I really started to just get a bit more introspective in general with life. And at that time I'm 16. I'm just starting to think about things more. And I don't know. I don't really know how the change in what I'm listening to really correlates. It might, but anyway, at that time, what's going on? Pretty much Kendrick's "To Pimp a Butterfly," also ASAP Rocky's like second album, or yeah, not counting his first mixtape or whatever. And Freddie Gibbs, Pinata. What else? OG Mako.
No,
Bitch, you guessed it. um, and yeah, I guess that's. I don't know. I guess I am thankful for the music that was out at that time, and that I just so happened to gravitate to. It was cool to hear something like Kendrick's "To Pimp a Butterfly" at that time. At 16, I don't really know how to process that either, but his instrumentation on that album is fantastic. And then, man, in terms of rock, It's still pretty stagnant, what I'm listening to in regards to rock. Or just instrumental music that contains instruments for real. Still pretty stagnant. And then the next year, that's when I meet Javi, and then we're just starting to get to know each other. Javi is my guitarist in a project called Mother Bass. And you know, he's really the main person that I've got to bond with in regards to music and just explore. So when we first met, we just bonded over Red Hot Chili Peppers, some early 2000 bands. It really, like, for the most part at that time, it was just straight like RHCP influence. Like, it was stupid. And then whatever, we really dig each other. We're still together to this day, and yeah, man, we start playing together, and shit just flows. It flows like crazy, and we've really enjoyed exploring music together. Around that time, he tried putting me on to Chan, and the video he showed me was a performance from that very year, I think, at with Audio Tree. I think they're from Chicago. I think. I'm not sure. I think they have a studio in Chicago. Whatever. So he showed me that, and I was like, "Oh, cool." I didn't think much of it. And then the following year, 2015, we were pretty active, and then the following year we weren't too active, I think. We were still hanging out, I think, but not so much, I think, if I remember correctly. And then, like, more toward I guess the beginnings of 2017. That's when we were like, all right, like, let's try to get a bit more active. And I think Javi went out of his way to find who would be our first bassist experience. Sorry, water. And we played quite a few months with this guy. And also around that time, this is when I discovered the herb and the music, if you get what I'm saying. And I, on top of that, was just getting involved with other musicians, like, and it was a really fun time. That's when I really just first started exploring, alongside with Javi and the first bassist. And yeah, like, in that time, I just started realizing, like, how much I really wanted to hone in on this instrument, because I didn't mention that I really first started playing drum set at like age 12. Around that time, I was also playing in a little Latin ensemble thing, Latin jazz ensemble. So I got
School or?
no, this like family ran organization. It was called Avila. So a lot of us were Venezuelan in that group. So yeah, I got some very first jazz experiences at the age of 12, which, at that time I didn't really think much of it. I thought it was fun, truly, but I didn't dig the whole like this is super organized. Like nah, you know. The music was cool though. So yeah, and at that time I was also getting some private lessons with this woman named Mariana, and she's
On Kit.
yeah, on Kit, and she's Colombian, and she would also she would be showing me stuff like some basic like salsa coordinations on the congas, uh, and on the kit too. Yeah, she was. She would it be cool if I showed like some like
Yeah, yeah,
the
for sure.
first thing she showed me? The first thing she showed me was like something like that. Um, and that was cool. You know, like it was like it's cool looking back that like I actually did dig it at that age, you know, something like that. Because like my parents would also be playing like a lot of Latin music, huge Latin music fans like salsa, merengue, I don't know, man, Venezuelan stuff. Um, so I was with this teacher for like 2 years, and then I just started getting a little bored, um, and I stopped for 2 years. And in that time, that's when I started listening to rap, and then the trap music, blah blah blah. And then at 16, like when like Kendrick dropped and shit around that time, that's when I started getting back into it because
So you weren't playing that much
I
when you were
no,
listening to rap,
yeah,
like in
no,
that 14 to
not at
16.
all.
Word.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah, and
And then that, To Pimp a Butterfly specifically, influenced you to
no,
get
not
back
no,
into it?
like it's just
Or just
it's
around that time?
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so like in the fall of like 2014 or something, my dad, he's playing tennis at this tennis club, this athletic club in Weston, and he's buddies with this guy. He sometimes plays tennis with him, and turns out this guy's a drummer. He's got to be like in his late 60s at this point or something. Um, he went to actually.
Oh, word. Like Frost, or?
I don't know. I think he went for music. I think. I'm not sure. But this guy had a whole little studio in his house, like mic'd up and shit, like crazy room actually. Um, and I went over for the first time, and this guy, I played for him, and he was like, cool, cool. And at the end of it, he ends up giving me. Uh, I don't have the symbols actually. I think. Did he give me? I think one symbol's here. Yeah. I think one of the symbols that he gave me is here. He gave me a ride and two pairs of hi-hats. Yeah, because he knew that I was just trying to get back into it, and he was just like, "Hey, man, here."
Nice.
And he gave me some books. I never touched those books. Um, and yeah, that's when I first started like getting back into it. So then yeah, like fast forward to like 2017 again. That's when I really start thinking like, wow, like this is really dope. Like I see the potential I have, and considering what my peers are also aspiring to be, like I gotta be good. Like I gotta be pretty fucking good, and shit, man. From there, it's this whole like just going in circles. Just you're getting better, you want to get better. You're getting better, you want to get better. And that's all, for the most part, been with really you and Javi. Um, and yeah, again, freaking dude, since 2017, like I have not stopped listening to Chan. I can't believe it. Like pretty much on a daily basis still. Like
Wow, committed. Yeah.
it's those guys are wizards. I love them so much. And whatever. Since I started playing with Javi, um, and you, it's just been this like I've delved a lot deeper into. I mean, not really a lot deeper. Like I could always do a better job of looking around and stuff. But I guess what I'm trying to say, like, what's really hit me all these 5 years is fusion stuff, jazz fusion. I don't know, man. Fusion in general, just some different shit, you know. Uh, and in the past 2 years, I've started to get more into like jazz. And I don't really know how to describe this jazz.
Like more contemporary or older?
Explain contemporary to me.
Like newer, like
Okay,
I would
yes,
say like
yes.
from 80s on maybe, or
Honestly,
even if it's newer.
I'll say this: I listen to a lot of Mike Mitchell,
For sure. Yeah.
and he's got some crazy projects out there. Yeah, man, like playing with you, it's really exposed me to like you've only like nourished this I don't know how to explain it, like this potential to listen to these kinds of things, you know, and perceive music this way. Just you've pushed my fluidity a lot, you know.
Likewise, yeah.
Yeah.
Likewise, for sure.
And I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can say.
For sure.
For the most
Thanks,
part.
thanks for sharing all that. That was really, really interesting. I wanted to ask about how you were first introduced to the idea of melody and how that connects to rhythm. Yeah, and kind of like what your perception is about that relationship between melody and rhythm.
Melody and
really
rhythm.
From any angle.
I don't know where to start with that, to be honest. Help me out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I kind of wish that I could have been like presented it in a less specific way, because definitely the way that I learned it was more so like a melody is, you know, a specific line that has these qualities and has a certain shape to it, and this is what a melody should be, you know, within the academic setting.
For sure.
So and a lot of those ideas still linger, and not to say that they're completely inaccurate, like there is, you know, there's a certain power to a melody that has like clarity and simplicity to it that speaks through. But for me, melody is like it's more of a nuanced thing, you know what I mean? Like harmony is pretty much just a definition. It's like when you have more than one note present, that is harmony. Like any more than one note is harmony. And, you know, there's nuance within that. But it is still just that definition. But melody to me, I don't know, it's interesting. There's more complexity to it. And I was actually talking about this with Ian yesterday, but how, you know, we separate these things in our head, but also what makes them feel the way they do is the context of it, you know what I mean? Like if you were to remove a melody from its setting and just play it on a different instrument as a single note line with none of the accompaniment, it would be it would be fundamentally different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would still be the melody, but it's not the same. I don't know. So then in that sense, the definition almost becomes irrelevant, especially in the moment of experience, because you know, you don't really need to be thinking about what a melody is when you're listening to music. You just listen to the music.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to at least like think about some of this stuff as an artist and musician. You know, depending on what your intention is, whether or not you want to put across some sort of clear idea or if it's supposed to be more clouded. Yeah, I don't know, just something I've been thinking about a lot recently. So I just wanted to touch on it a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I could say like I've never tried learning theory. I've tried, trying to get my silly little mind to, hey, let's do something else. Let's try to learn something else. And I can't. But I guess something I could say is since I was little, I think I've had a pretty good ear for melody. Like, I think I've always been able to sing to a song pretty accurately.
You would do that, like learn songs and sing with them? And stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Um,
That's like the best feeling when you can sing a song through straight.
Yeah.
Even the solos and stuff.
uh, fucking that. I mean, I was listening to a lot of vocal music with vocals, of course. Duh. But damn, I lost my train of thought. Damn.
When you're listening to stuff with vocals, do you try to actively perceive the lyrics, or is it more so
No.
the melodic content? Because at least for me, until more recently, I mean, it's kind of been a process, but especially when I was younger, I would almost like rebuke the lyrics.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it didn't matter to me.
Yeah, I think I think it's always for me. It's always been I don't know. Like I would just naturally pay attention to the melody more. And then recently is when like I'm starting to like learn how to listen to some lyrics. But yeah, I don't know. I've always loved melody. Like melody's incredible, and I think it's as incredible as someone who plays a melodic instrument. But I think melody has still influenced me in some kind of way that I don't think about honestly. I don't know how to explain how, perhaps, but I've always I don't know, like I've always kind of felt it like like something rhythmic first and foremost. Like even if there's like different like like different strings being used to like accent somewhere else or whatever, like what's standing out to me is like the shape of the rhythm,
Right.
and then I'm my brain is at the same time catching the melodic aspect.
Right.
I don't really know how to explain it.
No, I feel that though. Yeah, and I guess for myself as well, I've always been more inclined towards like the rhythmic aspect of things and just thinking about stuff in that way, especially from like kind of there was this particular moment where I decided that I wanted to start thinking about it more actively, especially while I listened, just to try to absorb like and get a better like internal pulse basically. Like I really wanted to have good time, like so I just started thinking about it a lot more, and that's actually something that I've also been thinking about recently. Is like the amount of growth that you can get from just thinking about stuff actively. Like, the time away from the instrument is almost more important, maybe equally important to the time at the instrument. And that's something that I feel like sometimes people don't understand when they're approaching it. It's not just about hammering away, and the technique is incredibly important, especially as it relates to longevity and health. But yeah, it's more nuanced than that. I don't know. It's interesting for sure.
I have a hard time staying away from the instrument, as you know.
Yeah.
Like I have a
Well,
very
no, the
hard time.
consistency is key though. At the same time, it's a balance. Like, yeah, I don't know. I wish I had more of that, to be honest.
Mm.
But yeah, I wanted to ask from a while ago, from when you first started talking, and we should probably wrap up after this to step into the next program. But so your family listened to a lot of music, and your brother introduced you to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you feel like there was that kind of deeper perspective towards music within your family and friends, and or was that something that you kind of more so came to? In terms of like really like being about listening to music and like searching like that. For me, I don't know. Like, I think in some ways it was like that, in other ways it wasn't. But yeah.
But like, tell me.
Well, just because there was a lot of music being listened to and of a lot of different styles, and it was like about the music, you know what I mean? It wasn't just like putting something on in the background just to like, we were listening to the music, like, and
for sure.
we would know the songs, and like my mom is like very like musically inclined like that, but at the same time there was kind of a stifling aspect to it, just in terms of like, especially as it related to like lyrical content and stuff. Like there was stuff that like I couldn't be listening to, you know what I mean? So that was kind of when I had to go off into like my own path to absorb those things. But
damn. Growing up, no, it's always been just. I think I just early on took it into my own hands. I'm not sure why, but before that, I was just exposed to it. There was a time where it'd be a lot of road tripping to places and, playing their CDs, my parents, little mixtapes and shit. And man, it contained just a lot of stuff. But never like, we're sitting at home and, hey, let's listen to some music together. Or friends either. Like, I didn't start getting friends that were like thinking about, that were really feeling music this way, really till I started meeting people like at age 17 and stuff, like Javi and then Jeremy and then you and my friend Cameron. That's when like we would literally like just sit and like listen to some music. Like I hadn't like experienced that before, and like pairing it with the herb, it allows me to do something I'm not used to, and I'm able to tell myself, hey man, just chill out and sink yourself in and listen to some damn music.
Yeah, you can get more
and
inside of it.
Yeah, and I mean, thankfully, at first it wasn't like that. Like it wasn't me telling myself like, hey man, like settle down, like you're feeling a little nervous in whatever way that is, to the smallest degree. At first it's the herb straight up just taking over, and you're a fucking thing on a surface, just I don't know, melting. And yeah, like at first it takes you into this hole, and you're just sucked in, and you're like, whoa, this song is crazy, and then that's when you're like, whoa, I want to keep doing this, and then you just start getting used to like this listening aspect more, regardless of substance, and that's fantastic, honestly. Like, and it's great that like it gets me to, it's gotten me to a state of awareness where, you know, I can be like, all right, you're not listening correctly.
Right.
Listen correctly. So yeah, just that didn't start happening till like later on,
Right.
like
Right.
late high school type stuff.
Same. Yeah. Same. I listened seriously, but yeah, like same thing as you. I always like knew that I should be listening with people. Like it was actually specifically recommended from like a pretty young age, just by different teachers and stuff. Like link up with your friends to listen to music. But my friends, yeah, they didn't really listen to music like that until I was older. So it was more in moments when I was alone and stuff, or in the cars. Like, listening to CDs.
Yeah, exactly.
Etc. And then finally, very similar actually, arriving to that point in conjunction with arriving to smoking and everything, and then starting to jam more, opening up the conception, and it all came together. Just developing more of an appreciation for listening. It's like the most fire thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always feel so happy when I get to a point where I have enough time to like really sit down and listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, it feeds you. It's like the best pastime because it's incredibly enjoyable, but you're also like absorbing information.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Yeah.
pointless,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just feels good, man. Well, awesome. Thanks so much for being here, for playing. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
As always. Thanks for speaking as well. Hopefully we get a chance to maybe revisit some more expanded topics in the future because it was really interesting to talk about this stuff. But yeah, for the listeners, Simon Silva, incredible percussionist from here in the South Florida area. I'm Goon Green hosting The Pocket, which is every Saturday from 1 until 3. We ran a little bit later because of a later start, so thanks to everyone for sticking through that wait period at the beginning of the program. This will be archived on YouTube, so to anyone watching on the YouTube archive, thanks so much. It was a pleasure. And I will be back next Saturday, the same time from 1 until 3 p.m., and time will tell what direction I take that program. But for now, we're going to step aside, and then coming up next, an all-vinyl set from Miami legend Bishop the Baker here, live and direct on Miami Community Radio.
Yeah.